Hello, everyone, and welcome. It is Tip Tuesday Live, and in this segment, we are going to be talking about leadership. Leadership is important in life, it's important in business. It's one of those things that can be learned. Certainly there are people who are, born leaders, right? But if you're not feeling especially full of that passion and drive in your life, know that you can learn. And so Tip Tuesday Live comes to you every Tuesday here in our Facebook group, Online Business Builders, also on our business page in Facebook and on our YouTube channel, Ask David and Dana. So we're going to dive in today to 8 steps for becoming a better leader. And that you can apply to your life or business, like I said, but you may hear some things today that are really going to challenge you just a little bit. And I really hope so. I like to bring you tips, strategies, things that are working, things that we've discovered. And in this particular instance, these are some steps, notes that I took based on some Gallup research. Now, I didn't write my source down on my notes. You see my notes here; they're kind of scratched out. But I do want to share because there's some brilliance here, and somebody needs to hear this. So, if you're not already a strong leader, putting some of these steps into play may just help you take on more of a leadership role in your life, in your family, in your business. And so number 1 is to connect your purpose to an individual action. Now, this action might be something that you're doing as the leader, or it might be something that you're asking your team, the people that you're leading, to do. But whatever it is, you've got a purpose. You want to connect that purpose to some action. And what happens here is that everyone then on the team has clarity. They know exactly why they are doing what they're doing. If you're asking them to do something, if you're leading them in a certain direction and you connect that purpose to the action they're doing, then there's no question, there's clarity. And that's one step to help you become a better leader. Think about what your purpose is and have you attached that to an action. Number 2, don't be afraid to shine a light upon the opinions of others. Now, that's a big one. A lot of people in leadership, they've got these huge egos and they want it all about them. That does not make a good leader. A good leader is able to shine their light on other people. And what's nice is you don't have to have all the answers. That's too much pressure that a lot of leaders put on themselves to have all of the answers. There's a lot of genius in everybody's team. And when you get good at shining the light on other people's brilliance, that is a good leader. That is a good leader. So don't be afraid to ask for input from your team. If you're feeling weak in some area, that does not show weakness as a leader. That just shows you as a strong leader. Number 3, allow genuine candor. You don't want to have honesty. You want that to be so important. You want people to be able to trust you as a leader. So call out behavior in your team when you see something that isn't quite right. Address it. Don't let it fester and grow into something unmanageable. And when you're allowing for that to be the environment of your team, of the people that you're leading, that honesty is so important. That is a good leader will lead people in that direction. Number 4 is to commit to one meaningful conversation with each team member each month or each week in some time frame. Depending on the size of your team. If you only have 2 people on your team, then certainly you can fit in a meaningful conversation each week. But if you've got thousands of people on your team, obviously that isn't going to be workable. But what I'm trying to get with, I think, in this number 4 is to be in conversation with your team in a meaningful way, not just water cooler banter going back and forth, but truly meaningful conversations to get to know what makes your team members tick. That's going to play in so many different ways to support the team, keep the team healthy, and it's also going to increase the effectiveness of the relationship that you have with each team member. If you think back of groups or teams that you've been on, maybe employers that have, treated you in certain ways, think of ones that really stand out. Those are the ones that have really, really seemed to care about you. I mean, I can remember some bosses that I've had. They would call me in and just ask me, how are things going? It doesn't have to be a hard conversation, but have them. So that's number 4. Number 5, unlock human motivation. Now, this, you wish you had a key for this. You wish that it was as simple as opening a lock. But this one is a bit tricky. But you want to be looking at the people you're working with, looking for those triggers, looking for those skill sets, those assets, those things that people bring to your group, to your team. What motivates them? Is it money? Is it success? Is it recognition? Everyone is a little bit different. It's not a one size fits all. I mean, you're going to have, if you give out a weekly bonus or a monthly bonus, that's going to really be a trigger for somebody. They'll work harder next month. But for some, it's not. And then there's others who are, needing that pat on the back and that reassurance that they're doing things the right way. And without that, they're going to start to go into a downward spiral and not be as productive as they could be. So look for the key that's going to unlock the motivation for your team, and realize that it's going to be different from person to person. Number six, recognize and reward excellence. And what I mean here, and I think what the intention of this research was, don't always focus on what's wrong. Think back to the interactions that you've had perhaps with people that are in your team, or if you are not the leader of a group that you're in, think of what happens. Don't you usually see the talking head of the leader coming in and trying to fix problems or point out something that was done wrong? How many times have they come in and celebrated with you and rewarded you for some excellence, something that you've done above and beyond? So as a good leader will recognize that you need a balance of that. Yes, you need to work on things that are wrong, but you need to offset that with celebrating what is excellent. Number 7, we are closing in. There were 8, remember? Number 7 is to care about your employees or the people on your team, to care. Remember, they are real people. Let me say that again. I'm just going to pause for a second and think of all the people that you interact with every day, in a leadership role or not. They are real people. They have feelings, they have emotions, they have hurts, they have problems. They have a lot of stuff under the surface that you have no idea about. A good leader will care about their employees. It kind of goes hand in hand with that, having those conversations, right? You can learn a lot about your people that you are in charge of from having those conversations. But you want them to see you as approachable and not someone that is not friendly, is not caring. And our last one, did I save the best for last, do you think? The number one job of a leader is to develop new stars, rising stars, other leaders. You're not going to be around forever, and that's not the point of this one. But your number one job as a leader is to be nurturing and building into the lives of others and developing new stars, new leaders to take on new roles, giving that encouragement. Can you think of a leader or someone that has, you have looked up to, who has poured into you, who has given you what you needed to succeed? That's a good leader. Someone who isn't afraid of competition, isn't afraid of losing his or her own position. You're always looking to raise up the next leader. I think back of being in small group ministry in our church. We would have small groups of 8 to 10 people. Well, those groups would grow, right? They'd be 12, 14, 15 people. Well, that's too big for a small group. So a good leader would be looking in the group for someone they could nurture, they could encourage, they could feed into, to build and open a new group, to do the same thing. A good leader will not feel threatened, will be motivated to help others succeed. So think about these 8 steps or tips, however you want to call it, ways to become a better leader, whether you're doing that in your family, whether you're doing that in your business, in your church, wherever it is. And certainly, as coming from a Christian perspective, we look to Jesus. He is our leader. And the question you might ask yourself, and this isn't one of the 8 steps, it wasn't part of the Gallup research, but it is part of what drives my life. And that is to look to Jesus, and how would he respond? What would he do? So I hope you have found some little nugget here as you're leading a team of people or leading in your life, ways that you can be more effective, be a better leader. And remember, we're not all born leaders, and that's okay. But we can learn and we can become better leaders. So until next time, if there's anything that David and I can do for you, there you can reach out to us. Go to our website, DavidnDana.com. That's David, the letter N, Dana.com. We've got a free gift waiting there for you. Download that, get into our system, and that's one of the things we both love as leaders, is to build up other leaders and show other people how to build a successful business online. And that's what it's all about. That's what we've put our second career, our encore career, all about, is helping others to figure out what it is that their gift is, that they can monetize and help this world be a better place. So until next week, I hope you found value. Feel free to share this video with someone. If you are in a leadership role and you have other leaders that you're nurturing, you might find some tips here that are helpful for them. Certainly share that with them. In the meantime, stay well, be safe, and be blessed. We'll see you next week.